in my zone.
Team LeBron.
Yeah.
We're not talking about ball right
We're
now.
getting our next chip this year.
Yo, look.
If the Raptors
podcast
don't
about
do
to
it.
start, and my water is already.
Oh, that's not good for you.
It's okay. I'm good.
All right, yo, let's go. Welcome to In the Zone podcast. What's up, Aaron? Say what up to the people.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to In the Zone, episode 4. We've been killing it.
All right, we got a guest. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
So my name is Kevin Hood, man of many talents. I guess we're just focusing on real estate now.
No, talk about all your talents. Don't sugarcoat.
I
Tell them.
I may take up the whole show.
Just we
Relax.
may have to bring you back then.
So the main things I do. So full time, I work at Sun Life Financial as a tester in IT.
Mm-hmm.
The second main thing I'm doing right now, I'm a DJ, I guess MC host for a company, Heart Music Entertainment, aka Roots Redemption. We focus on like weddings, corporate parties, anything that needs music and entertainment.
Seen you at a couple of weddings before.
Yeah. You know, so we kill it. He knows we're the best.
You know what? Okay, so let's talk about this. I gotta say a funny story how I know Kevin. So we talk about the DJ and stuff. So I helped his wife get a mortgage. His wife knows a realtor that I'm close with, Odine. Shout out to Odine and her new show. Okay. So I met him, did the mortgage, everything was cool. And then I want to do my birthday party. So I called my boy Live, one of my best friends. He's like, yeah, I'll get these guys Roots Redemption. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, they sound good or whatever. I probably even been to a party with these guys and just didn't really know. Yeah. And then I show up at my birthday party and I see Amanda and Kevin. I'm like, what? What are you doing here?
I didn't even know it was his party.
So you guys already knew each other?
Yeah, because I did the mortgage, like 6-7 months out.
Okay.
And then I show up at my birthday party and they're there and I'm like, what? And they're like,
and you really hooked us up with a mortgage too. So
Did you charge him or was it free?
it was free, man. Like, my services are free.
No,
pays
for
me.
your DJing.
Of course you charge me. Yeah, of course you charge.
I don't remember.
I paid, but it's all
it
good.
was through Live.
Through Live.
Through Live asked us, we just said we'll do it.
Well, hopefully Live paid you. So.
I think we did what we do a lot of events. We just do for free for friends, right?
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Yeah.
That one was a sweat box. I remember like at that party, so much people were upset at me because they got locked out outside. I over-invited, so.
It was ram.
Yeah, that was so ram.
And this man had a white jacket, had pure lipstick stains on.
Oh, let's not talk about that.
We'll leave that for another one.
All right, so go back. Okay, so you're a DJ, and then you said...
I guess the last thing, now I'm calling myself a real estate investor. Okay. So I think over the last year, I really got serious about it. So I've had a property for over 10 years, maybe a little more.
Where's that property?
In Oshawa.
Okay.
So initially it was my home. So I was living there, but then I moved out. I just didn't decide to sell it. Just kept it, right?
Nice.
It was another realtor that told me don't sell it because the prices are going up. So I said, you know what? Let me just hold on. I just held on, and actually now I'm glad I didn't sell it because it's like more than doubled in price already.
That's
cash
good.
flow's nice on it. It's just running nice.
Well, the number one rule is, if you hold your property for 10 years, it should double. So you got the formula.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Good job, man.
Yes.
Big up.
So even then, Kevin, obviously I'm in real estate. I'm a real estate investor. Kevin just purchased pre-construction as well. Mm-hmm. He failed to mention that at Backyard Condos. 4 months ago?
A little more than that.
4 or 5 months ago?
About that.
Just before the end of 2019.
Nice.
Yeah.
2019, correct.
This guy was trying to move me to another condo, and I was like, nah.
No, it wasn't that. What happened was...
what had happened was...
Nordic was Backyard Condos was being difficult in terms of allocations.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to make sure that, there's a next project, Nordic, that was really good as well. So I want to make sure instead of waiting and missing out on both, I wanted to line you up to at least get you into the market on a product that I felt were equally good to each other, right? In terms of profit, upside. Backyard's a different market than Nordic, but I feel like they both have the same upside. But he was so adamant about Backyard.
I did the research and I was like, man, this is it.
Well, don't you know that area well, right?
I don't know it well. I just did the research.
Oh, okay.
Drove around, just studied it, looked, and I was like, damn, this is a really good area.
Yeah, and the price was good too.
So do you do a lot? So we talk about real estate investment. I know you didn't do maybe research when you bought your first Oshawa property, but now, like you said you did your research. Like, what does your research entail?
So just the area. Well, in Toronto, it's really basic because all of Toronto is like booming. So, but it's just the area where it's close to, roughly how much you're paying for it, how much you get rent. Even though right now I'm still worried about the rent, still like cash flow on that side. But I just know by the time it goes up, it would probably be worth it more than it is now. So I'm okay with that for now.
Yeah, that's the thing about pre-construction as well. And we taught that in the masterclass as well. You can't always gauge the current rents with the pre-construction today because it's not going to be ready for another 4 years. So if you're negative $50 right now, would your rent go up another $200 in 4 years? Most likely.
Yeah.
With the supply and demand
especially
issues.
with the vacancy rates as is now.
Right, and if it doesn't, there's other avenues you can co-live it to make it cash flow.
That's the idea I had.
Yeah.
The other thing is too is like we also have to forget like debt repayment. Like I keep saying this, like debt repayment is not included in the cash flow. Right. So if you're a businesses don't include the reduction in your debt in your cash flow statement. It's just the interest that you're paying, right? So when we look at rental property, sometimes we actually are cash flowing because some of our money is going down towards principal, and that's a positive return. Yeah. So when you add principal reduction in it, a lot of people are cash flowing, but it's like everyone's like, oh, what's the net amount that goes in my bank account? But really, that's not how you evaluate income property. But I understand. No one wants to pay out their pocket. I used to take that out of
the calculation just to be a bonus.
Okay.
So 5 years from now, that you're not even calculating that. That's just an extra.
Yeah.
It's like gravy on top. I don't calculate appreciation either.
That's good.
So that's just gravy. So if you do get it, it's bonus.
Okay.
Yeah, but for me, I'm an equity guy.
You're an equity play?
I like equity right now because my mentor always told me because you're young, chase big side up equity because you can scale you and grow you.
Yeah,
that's true.
Because at the end of the day, if let's say you get into a property and you get equity of $500,000. And then you can take that $500,000, go into another project that can give you equity of $1 million, and then $2 million. Then you grow. Then you can get a big apartment building that spits you out $30,000-$40,000 a month, right?
It's true, right? Because that's where I am right now. Because the property you helped me get, that alone, I could have got almost like $200,000 out alone.
Yeah,
right. So equity is my thing, man. I love to go to areas that have lots of transportation. I can create highest and best use. I can use it for multiple purposes, and I just time the market as much as I try to time the market as best as I can. And the properties that I was currently purchasing, like condos and single family homes, I'm now starting to liquidate those things and get into like straight commercial residential type of plays now because I've spent the years building the equity to now go into products that can really give me cash flow. I'm not talking $200-$300 a month cash flow. I'm talking about net operating income of $400,000 a year, that type of stuff now, right? So
sounds pretty.
So I see you all the time. I know I went to one of your events that you had. You brought Beyond Win from the States. So tell us a little about the journey down there because
what is Beyond Win?
So Beyond Win is it's actually a guy. That's his name. He changed his name to Beyond, and his last name is Win. So
oh wow! That's cool.
It's interesting. Yeah. So it was through one of my friends, Kelsey. So earlier in 2019, that's why I still say I'm a rookie because it's only been a year or two that I've really been serious studying, putting like my boots to the ground and just researching all over. So one of my friends, Kelsey, he said he was going to Gary, Indiana to look at some tax lien early last year, so February 2019, just about a year ago. So I said, I'll come just to see what's going on. So we went out there, checked out some areas, signed up for the tax lien. And on the way back, we stopped in Cleveland. Yeah. When we got to Cleveland now, we met with Beyond. Okay. And then as soon as we met with him, my energy just vibed. And then I've been looking in Southern Ontario for like a properties and looking at the prices. And then when we went to Cleveland, the prices are like $40,000 for a duplex, $50,000 single family. Like it's cheap. So I decided, hey, why not, do something here in Cleveland? Because if I put down the same money in Toronto or Hamilton, Chatham, Windsor, all these areas I've been looking for, you're not getting the cash flow. Okay. You're not getting the ROI. Yeah. So after doing all the numbers and looking at what he's offering, I was like, man, this is not even like.
What's the ROI that you're looking for in your pro forma?
I try to aim at 10%, but I'm okay with 8.
Okay. 8% on your capital?
Cash, yeah.
Oh, cash on cash return?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 8%. So, but then all of those we're doing cash. Like there's no mortgages because we don't have the U.S. credit. Yeah. So if we get into that, that's the other issues we've been running into, but we'll get into that later. But so that's how we got to Cleveland because we knew we had a good connect in Beyond Win. That's Beyond good. Win, he's getting properties for ridiculously low.
Yeah.
You say we're buying it for 40, he's getting it for like 10.
Oh my!
So he's making mad money, but still, at us buying it at 40, we're still cash flowing.
You're still getting out of it, which is good for you guys.
Looking from the market we're coming from, that's you can't get that anywhere in Southern Ontario. No matter how far you go, you can't get that.
So what, like you know, I hear about the States, and like obviously we're comfortable in our market. I guess you know, when you hear those type of prices, you know, that's kind of the ones like, oh, that's too good to be true.
It is,
or it's too low.
Like, yeah.
Like that's how the economy is.
There's
out
a lot
there.
of people we brought out there. They're like, how can you get a house that cheap? Why is it that cheap?
Yes.
How is it? Then when you come out there and you see the houses, you're like, oh my gosh.
And how are the
like,
neighborhoods out there?
Some of them neighborhoods are not as great as Toronto. Toronto's nice, but some of the neighborhoods aren't great. It is kind of still the hood, but it's like it's doing well. We have like 3 properties out there. 2 of them are cash flowing right now. The third one we try to go bigger, an 8-unit. So we need to get funding to do that. And we're running into the issues with that, but we're trying a few different things.
Okay.
But the neighborhood's good. They have like 5 of the top Fortune 500 companies out there. They have jobs. Like they have Cleveland's doing well.
So
I've seen that.
Yeah, so like, you know, like any real estate investor, you know, your journey kind of sounds like mine. My friend was investing in Hamilton. I followed him, then I jumped on board. And Hamilton at that time, when I was investing in Hamilton, I was buying houses for like $90K.
See?
I was buying duplexes, triplexes for like 140, 150. But the one thing I did know about Hamilton was Hamilton is 45 minutes away from Toronto. It has the transportation, it has the fundamentals. So, you know, I stayed out there for 10 years and my properties tripled, some of them quadrupled because of the influx of investors starting to come in. They were like,
because they can't afford Toronto.
They can't afford Toronto, and Hamilton at that time was offering anywhere from 10% cap rate to 12% cap rate.
Hamilton was going through a lot too. Like you're talking about the age when steel industry like.
Well, it wasn't too long ago.
But I'm just saying they left like when you were buying. What was like how long ago? 6-7 years.
2007. No, 2009 was my first purchase. So 10 years ago.
10 years ago, like if you look in the news, steel was going down. Steel left Hamilton. So everyone's like, oh, Hamilton's a dead zone. It's not going to survive.
But you know, the funny thing about Hamilton was people weren't realizing that there's a lot of articles like top cities to invest in Ontario. Hamilton was always like top 5.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, well, London, Kitchener is way too far for me. I'm not going there. Other cities were a little bit more expensive. And then Hamilton was like, oh, shoot, it's like 45 minutes away. Anyways, what I'm trying to get to is like, I knew Hamilton had infrastructure. I knew my big plan was to like get back to Toronto. Because I hate really traveling to my properties because tenants, they can drive you nuts. You know that already. Even with property management. I use
property manager.
Even with property management. Your job is to manage the property manager. But anyways.
But it's one less managed.
Yeah. Right? So what I'm asking is Cleveland, yes, there's a cash flow component. Hamilton, for me, was a cash flow component. But I also love the fact of equity because equity allows you to grow and scale.
It's true.
So Cleveland, do you see what's going to drive the prices in Cleveland in terms of going from a $40,000 investment and then it could be worth $80,000 to $100,000? So what's going to drive
Cleveland, so last year, Cleveland was the 4th best rental market in the States, in all of the states. They have like the best hospital in all of like North America in Cleveland called the Cleveland Clinic. So those people are coming to Cleveland. Like even from earlier last year when we purchased, we got some for $40,000. It's already up $10,000 at least, and that's a conservative estimate. Nice. So the prices are going up. Even from the little bit of time we've been out there, we've noticed the prices are going up.
That's good.
There's a lot of people going into Cleveland and buying because of the prices and the cash flow. You can get the rents for them, right? And also, it's a landlord. The laws are pro landlord. Yeah. So somebody's not. So
what does that mean?
So when somebody's not paying their rent, 30 days you can get them out.
What?
It's not like here you're looking at like 4 months.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, we do not want to get at that conversation. But yeah, man. So there's so many things in Cleveland. I'm seeing yes, it works. It works.
Again, and cash is king, right?
Yeah. Cash.
At the end of the day, you know, cash flow, it takes care of your bills, it takes care of your basic necessities, and it can spill out more. So what's a big plan out in Cleveland? Like, you eventually going to develop out there?
Not develop right now. So going back to this 8-unit we have. So we bought an 8-unit. It was like condemned. Like we had to gut it. So right now we're trying to get like the $200,000 to renovate it. So we're going through that process right now to find a way to renovate this so it could cash flow. And this one should cash flow quite a bit once it's done. It's around maybe $4,000 a month. So it's pretty good. It's not your numbers. I'm not.
Yeah.
No. 4,000 US is great. I'll take that any day.
So
let's switch seats right now.
Yeah. So we're in the process of trying to do that, but we still have to build our U.S. credit. We have to build our business credit. So we're in the process of doing that now because the U.S. has so much money they're giving away.
Yeah.
Like you show $50,000 in your bank account, you can get $500,000 line of credit. Like
even as a Canadian.
Well, we're trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah.
We're going through that process. It's just like we need to show that money in U.S. and all of our money is in Canadian. So it's like, do I want to transfer all my money and have it sit in the bank account for a while? So we're trying to work with somebody to have them show the money and then we can get through it. But overall, once we get that business credit, oh man, I think that's the one domino that's going to make the whole thing fall down.
Well, at the end of the day, it's all about finance, right? Because finance introduces leverage. Leverage adds you to grow. If you don't have leverage, it's hard to grow anywhere, do anything, right? So I could see that could be, I guess that's why a lot of times like clients will call me and be like, oh, Jason, can you get me financing on a property in the States? And like, I'm like, no, I can't help you. And it's like, then there's nothing I can really do because I don't know how they do it. Yeah. I know some of the banks. I was just to say, I know RBC does some financing, TD. Yeah, but it's still restrictive.
Yeah, I went through that process with them and they said, oh, we don't do commercial buildings.
Oh, so you went through the whole thing and then, but then that's good. So now you know. Yeah, so now if you find a good residential building, you might be able to do something to get you some equity so you could then do your rentals. Yeah. So right now you own the property. It's just like vacant, or
so when we bought it, we had because we knew we're gonna have to get this money, and we're not gonna spend our money to do it. So we said, okay, we could sit on this for a year. Our holding costs aren't gonna be that much. It might be like $2,000 for like insurance. And,
how much did you pay for
property tax? We paid $40,000
for 8plex,
and then we paid for an 8plex, and we put in $10,000 just to gut it, board it up because I think there were some like vacants living in there. So we have to clean it out, gut it, cut the lawn, make sure the neighbors feel good that, okay, something's happening here. Yeah. So we put in a total of 50 and we're trying to get like 200 US to get it done.
So is the cost of renovations there any different than here? Because the property cheaper. Way cheaper. Right? What is it? Just the materials, cheaper. Labor, everything?
Labor, I'm not sure if materials are cheaper, but the labor for sure is cheaper.
Okay.
Like people do stuff for like the prices you're hearing. It's like you can't get that in Toronto. No way. I realize we pay a lot for our renos up here.
That's the one thing that pisses me off about Canada and Toronto.
Everything's expensive.
Everyone here is like it's almost like they have a gold throne at home, right? And they just everyone feels that they're the best and everything they do has to be top price, right? In America, what I love about the States is like
competition.
Just to go back to what you're saying a little bit in terms of like, access to capital, right? One thing I understand about what I love about America is like it's a capitalist economy where it's a land of opportunity. It's everyone out there is looking to make money and do it in a big scale, right? So when you look at guys like Grant Cardone, they're buying like 500 unit apartment buildings. We don't even have a 500 unit apartment building complex in Toronto. I've never seen it unless it's like TCHC.
We have some of them. Yeah, but the big boys are doing them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like I looked at like development companies like out in Charlotte. There's like, put it this way, see how we have to like look for it and it's like a needle in the haystack. Out there, it's like as you drive down the street, it's like, oh, there's another apartment complex. But those complexes don't even look like they're like at-risk neighborhoods or anything. They're actually like with pools. They look like resorts and they're just rental places, right? And there's these big landlords out there making big money, right? So
and the price points are nice.
And the price points are nice. So what I was going to ask you too, for your 8plex, why don't you just try to network out there and get hard money lenders to help you in the process?
Oh man, we went through like countless, we went so many. I think we're on like 30 or 40 of them. So most of them, they don't give us the money is because we don't have that credit out there.
So you need credit for hard money?
Yeah, they ask for credit. They want to make sure you could pay this back. Or what they want is something to put up against it.
Collateral.
So even though we have houses here and stuff, have property here, they don't take that because they don't have access to Canadian.
How about the 40 grand house you purchased there?
Those are still too low.
Yeah.
Because think about it. We got one for 40, we got one for 50. That's still 90. Most of them, they don't even lend. They won't even take a mortgage unless it's over 100.
Right.
So even the one we just bought for 50, we could possibly sell that for double right now for close to 100, but still it's like borderline, right?
Yeah.
So we got to wait maybe a year or two before the prices go up, and then we could package them into like a mortgage or put it,
So once it's complete, are you going to be able to get financing?
That's a good question.
Because I think if you knew, like even when anytime I solve problems for my clients, it's always like, okay, what's the exit strategy? Yeah. Okay, this is the exit. Okay, now let's fill the gap. Because sometimes if you know how to exit, you may pay a little bit more money in the interim just to know, oh, if I can get here, I'll pay whatever the difference there. So
that's a question we've been asking. So even before we take the money, we're gonna figure out because as soon as it's renovated, we need to get a mortgage because we have to pay this money back because the interest rate on that's gonna be too high. So we want to get a lower interest rate. So the same company as Finance of America, we're actually trying to deal with now, and they're actually pushing us further. Like we've gone the furthest with them. Once that's done, I do believe they will take a mortgage, but I'm not 100% sure. So that is another fluid situation. But
that's the beauty about real estate. It's always about putting that puzzle together.
Yeah,
it's never a straight blueprint. Like I meet people all the time. I'd be playing basketball or be doing something, and the way people ask me questions, like they want a 10-second crash course. I'm like, I got to see the whole picture. There's a whole puzzle here. You might have to go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? And then you may be stuck making the ultimate decision of using your own damn money. You might have to put your money up, boy. Yeah.
But at the same time, I have money sitting there just in case. Just in case of the renovations going to cost more, all of that other stuff. But
just get it done.
Yeah, I tried to talk to your boy too, Haroon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he hasn't come true yet, yo.
He said you didn't follow up.
Yeah. Anyways, that's for another conversation.
We'll talk about that after.
No, he can get it done. So.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that after.
Yeah. So I think the key is the exit. Because at the end of the day, even if there's a cost to your capital too. Yeah. So regardless, even if you put up unless you want to flip it, which is another good option,
I don't want to flip. I want cash flow.
Yeah. So then what's your goal? So you're saying, what do you want cash flow for?
So the first goal is to just get out of my job. I want myself to be free just to do what I want to do. And the second thing, I want my wife to be free because she's so creative. But I know she's I don't want to say the company, but she's working her work. But I think she could be even bigger than she is right now. So at the same time, I want both of us to free up our time to do what we need to do. What we want to do with our time, right?
Yeah.
But that's the first goal. The second goal is like, man, I want to see the world.
Okay.
I want to see every part of the world. Like I want to just travel.
And stop going to Grenada, then book another ticket somewhere else.
Oh man, it's
I
coming.
see you in Grenada like once a year. Go somewhere else.
Oh man, I'm there twice this year. I was there October. I'm there. No,
I'm jealous.
What he wants to see the world though.
This time I'm going for business.
Good.
Business.
Good.
So
nice.
So tell us a little bit about that. Like, what do you think? Like, I've always I'm from Dominica, and I've always feel like I want to invest down there. Like, I think, but I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I get scared of the climate risk. I think we're blessed here that we don't have as much climate risk.
You're talking about the
like hurricanes, earthquakes, like anything like that, like volcanoes.
But look how much people are living out there now.
Yeah, I understand.
I know,
but it takes one thing.
Might get
I'm not gonna say anything, but yeah.
You're talking to a Canadian boy.
I'm a Canadian.
That's a Canadian.
I'm a Canadian, man.
I'm
so Canadian. I'm safety first.
Yeah, safety.
Where's my safety hat and my safety boots?
Yeah, but then you don't get to fully live. It's a risk. It is a risk. But
I'm scared of climate control.
I didn't say climate control. I said climate change. But you know what? So one of my opinions when you think about even like Cleveland, like I've been reading a lot of what's with climate change. Like there's a big focus on maybe in the interiors of our countries because most of the big cities are on the coast.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, history for trade and stuff like that. So as climate change is changing or adapting and things are going on, they're talking about like Toronto and like Buffalo and Cleveland and Detroit, all the inner are now going to be safe havens for people to start migrating to. That's why one of the reasons I feel like Toronto is very strong because we have a great job market. We're very close to the U.S., but then we're also in an area where we're very protected from like a hurricane or something like that or an earthquake, right? So I've been reading a lot about that.
Even though Lake Ontario every summer is rising and rising and rising.
But remember, Toronto's kind of like this, right? So like north of it, like obviously you're near the lake, right? But there, you know what? I wonder if I've always said, I think some of the construction that they're doing is causing,
True.
You know, and they don't say those things.
Yeah, they don't say that because they're moving land out into the water.
Yeah, and something.
Where's the water gonna go?
It goes somewhere, right? So I wonder. I always think about that, like as you know, as an investor. Do you think 10, 20 years out, like what's the landscape going to be like? Not only about your own personal situation, but what do you think the world would be like, 20, 30 years from now?
That's an interesting question. Well, 10 years from now, I'm going to be living somewhere else. So I really don't think about that much.
Yeah?
No, I don't.
Okay.
The reason why, because I'm not really buying on the coast anywhere. So that climate change is not really that going to affect the areas where I'm purchasing right now. So I don't really think about that much. No, I never think about. I'm just thinking about, man, I just need to get out of this job. That's the number one thing on my mind. Everything else, it will fall into line.
Yeah, like I was listening to what you were saying in terms of freedom, and freedom is a very interesting thing. I already feel that you're free, because you already cracked the code in terms of what you need to do. It's just now you have to go through the process, right?
I agree with you.
And you're never ultimately going to be free because you're gonna
have a next thing you want to do.
You're gonna be a prisoner. You're gonna be a prisoner of your own game, right? So it's almost like.
But at least I could wake up in the morning and say, Kevin, what do you want to do?
Well, you can do that right now.
Yeah, I could.
It's just no, you could. It's just
You're right,
it's just a confidence thing.
It is. You're right.
Because I bet you right now, if you sold your Oshawa home, so the way you gotta look at things like this, right? Like I left my TTC job. Great paying job. That's a job you retire on and you can have a great life. And I walked away from that at the age of like 25. I got in there when I was 19.
Damn.
I could have retired at 54 and had a full pension. But I did some math in my brain and I said to myself, I got to make some hard decisions. I can get that kosher comfort lifestyle and, but I won't be able to get the extravagant things of, like you said, travel the world, stay in different places for years at a time. I'm not even talking months at a time, years at a time. Imagine I lived in Argentina for 3 years and then came back. Do shit like that.
You're talking about my dreams.
Right? So the formula that worked for me was, okay, there's something in my life, and there's always an answer in front of you that you don't look at, but there's something in your life right now that you can sell that can free you up, that can allow you to work on the real dream to then build a life that you want.
Yeah, you're true. You're
right?
Very true,
I think we get caught up on holding on and the fear of letting go of certain things.
Yeah, you're right.
So for me, I look at it as if fucking Cleveland's 40, 50 grand and you have $500,000 in equity in Toronto or in Oshawa in a home, why are you still holding on to that Oshawa home when you can go 10x your play out in Cleveland and go 10x your income right now and retire next month?
People don't look at it, and I say the same thing.
Right. It's just a tough decision that has to be made.
It is true.
It's about letting go to go further, right?
It's what it is. I like, even for me, like when I was working at the bank for a while, I would always be like, I want to go self-employed. And even though I was kind of still self-employed, you're always just like, I could just walk into any branch. I could, that comfort, right? But I think once you step out into that world, it's not as scary as it is. And to be honest with you, because of how much we get taxed in Canada and the advantages of being self-employed, it's not as much money as you think you need to make. Like I always say, you maybe need 50% of that gross income to probably live the same lifestyle, right? So
look at it this way. You can do the math for me.
Yeah.
If you make 70 grand a year. No, if
Are you doing the math?
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Because he understands all that payroll shit. If you make 70 grand a year, what would be your net take home?
I think it's about 42 to 43,000.
43,000.
In a job or self-employed?
Job. So what I was saying, when I got out of TTC, I was making like 80 grand a year. And I said, damn, man, they're taking like 30, 40 grand from me with all these EI and all this stuff.
Heavy.
So really, I only need to make 40 grand a year to take care of my basic necessities. I know how to make 40 grand being self-employed. Y'all, it's gone.
That was it, eh?
And to this day, I still live off of 40 grand a year. Just going back to freedom is like 90% of us are already free. It's just, are you going to unleash the shackles from your ankles and go for it? So what I mean by that is
true. I agree.
If you truly believe in what you're doing in Cleveland, why is your toe in the water now? Why aren't you all in?
Because first of all, Cleveland is just a little bit. I want to move actually down to south where it's warmer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I want also Airbnbs. I want kind of like, Cleveland's cold. It's like here. Yeah. Some people don't want to be in the cold all the time.
But the reason you're in Cleveland is because the numbers make sense. Cash flow versus price point.
Yeah.
Like I was in Miami last year looking at hotels. So I was looking at boutique hotels, 12, 13, 14 units. They were going for about 9 to 10 million US. So when you're going down south, you're paying that south premium, right? So you got to, if you're having capitalization issues in Cleveland, imagine in Miami.
Yeah. But then again, I'm looking like Orlando, like Fort Lauderdale, maybe not Miami.
I know.
Clearwater.
Still costs money more, a little bit more. Still a little bit more pricey. But
the thing about Florida is taxes are a lot better.
Yeah.
They have no state tax.
No state tax. But what I'm getting to is like, whatever you believe in, no matter what you do, you need time. So, you can flirt with your dreams and waste 5 years being half-assed, or you can just get to the point and get there right now, go through the process and 10x yourself, right? Because no matter when you decide to go all in and start, you still have to go through your 10 years. You still have to go through your trials and tribulations. You still have to go through your struggle. There's never going to be a perfect start. So for me, it's like right now I'm leveling up with Jason. We're looking to open a fund. We're looking to get into development. All the things I've built in the last 10 years are now getting sold and wiped out to go forward. And sometimes I'm saying to myself, man, is all my life work just went down the drain? But it's like when you get going on a new path, you realize like you're getting to the next level a lot faster than that 10 years. I'm getting there now in a year and a half.
You're like playing the cash flow game.
Yeah.
You got to sell the single families and the duplexes and get the apartments and the businesses.
Yeah. And you know what it is with business and life too, man? It's just, it's confidence. It's confidence, and you have to pat yourself on the back every single day because you're not going to be around people who are going to do it for you because they're never going to understand what you're chasing. So if you're looking for someone to validate you leaving your job, if you're looking for someone to say, yes, it's time, it will never happen. You got to do it for yourself because no one's on your schedule, right?
That's true.
And no one wants to go do what you want to do. Live in Argentina, Morocco, Thailand, all these things. So you're on your own with that.
Yeah.
So you gotta be the captain of that ship.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll look at the pictures. They look good.
Pictures are nice.
What kind of pictures?
No, I'm saying vacation
Vacation
pictures,
pictures.
Sorry.
Team Kobe over there. So I guess everyone's dream is to be like cash flow, or to have working on those dreams and ambitions. But part of this podcast is like staying in the zone. So is something that led you to that? Like obviously you're working your 9 to 5. Like even when we met, when we were first doing your mortgage, you weren't speaking like this.
No,
so
I wasn't
what changed?
What changed? My aunt passed away.
Oh, okay.
So,
Sorry to hear
so
that.
my aunt, she was a nurse. She worked all her life worked hard, saved the money, got herself in the right position, had enough to retire and all of that. And she didn't even live a year before she was diagnosed with leukemia.
Oh my God.
And when I got that news, my whole mentality just changed. So it was like, yo, what am I doing here? How long am I going to be in this job? Or why am I not living my life now? What am I waiting for? So that right there started changing the way I thought. And from then I just started angling myself to get into position to start purchasing property. Even last year, I only wanted to purchase one property. I ended up purchasing 8 last year.
Wow.
So
8 where?
8. So we got 4 in Gary, Indiana on auctions, 3 in Cleveland, and I got 1 in Chatham.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you got backyard too.
Yeah. So it was just that. It's just like a reality check to say, okay, Kevin, where do you want to be in life? What life do you want to live? And from then you just started thinking about, what do I want out of this life? Because it's not going to be here forever.
Yeah. And you got to take chances, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing too is like they always say like, there's a couple things in life that are going to make you change. And trauma is always up there as number one. Everyone has to go through a little bit of trauma, a little bit of grief to figure out like, yo, life will humble you very quickly if you're not ready, right? But then you got to be also like cautious in terms of, did your aunt ever express to you that she regretted working all these years, or did she actually like working?
She did, but who really likes working?
No. There's some people that like to work, man.
Not majority.
Ask my dad; he'll tell you, "Yo, I love to work."
There's very few people I go across. Well, honestly, if my full-time job was DJing, I would say I love it. So there's very few things I love.
There's a few
things I do love.
There's a lot of people who have jobs that love to work. It's just that you're just blessed to have that entrepreneurial mind that wants a little bit more.
Yeah, because then again, I don't want to have to work to make the money. I want the money to roll in, and then I decide what I want to work on.
Exactly.
Once I have that, then I feel like I'm free. Like, because you could get up in the morning and do what you want.
Okay, let me ask you a question then. because guys like you, I always have to kind of
guys like me.
Yeah.
What is
First
that?
of all,
Stereotyping.
Team LeBron guys.
Team LeBron.
No, because it's like I could tell, like, you know, and I used to be that way too. Like, I could tell, like, there's something that the fire is burning in you, and you're going after, like, you know. Where's your checkpoints though? Like, what's that number you need to feel free?
So my number right now is I have a monthly number. I want 5,000 a month. It's not huge.
5,000 a month, and that would make you free.
To me, I'll be free.
Okay.
To me, I'll be free. That would be the set that's rolling in, and because I could make money. Like, there's a lot of things I could do to make money. I don't find that's an issue. It's just I need to separate myself from this and have a flow of income. It's growing, but it's not growing as fast as I want, but it's growing. It's growing. I think myself, I'm growing more than the money itself.
It's
like,
part of that.
My mind
you always outgrow the money.
Yeah.
Always outgrow
Your mind goes first.
Your mind goes first, yeah.
And then you got to set your goals. Because, like, I would have to say, even for you, I remember I was speaking with Odine, and she's just like, yeah, Kevin's really interested in doing real estate. Yeah. And so I think I reached out to you and we talked, right? So what I like that you ask a lot of questions. I always like people that ask questions. You know, and
because I know there's people out there that know more than me. So just ask.
He doesn't ask me a damn thing.
Yo.
Oh,
I'm gonna be asking this guy a whole bunch of questions.
Oh, now that you said that, now your DM's gonna be flooded.
I did ask this guy a whole bunch of questions.
I answer.
At the end of the day, he bought backyard with you, so he must have asked you something.
No, he did.
This guy posted, I was on him. I was like, yo, B, how do I get in? Yo, what's going on with this? Yo.
You know what it is with Kevin? Like, I've been watching him from a distance. He's a very special talent. But once he gets into that, like, circle of, like, masterminds, he'll be very great in terms of, because once he's on a goal, I can see he's just But sometimes you gotta just balance it a little bit, because I say it like this, right? You know, you're in the U.S. and you're having a little bit of hiccups because you're not from there, but you're in Toronto, right? And I will say to people, like, master where you're from first, get that system really, really oiled up, and then crush it. So when you go over there, you're super strong. When I say that is, like, you know, Toronto's. You don't want to be looking in one direction and be like, okay, I'm going there because of this. It's like, sprinkle it a little bit and take some of your funds here and capitalize on this growing market right now. Because right now, Toronto's outgrowing Cleveland in terms of equity. Like, you can pick up a $600,000 condo right now, put your money down, $100,000, and in 3 to 4 years, that's up $350,000. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
And that $100,000 that you threw down on a house in Gary, Indiana, which is cash flowing $1,000 a month, which is good. That $100,000 could have made you another $350,000, which you can then take that $350,000 and go buy a whole block down there, and now make $15,000.
I guess I'm still cautious. You say that the toes in the water. I don't want to go all in on like one property or two properties when I could spread it amongst many. And if that one doesn't work, that's good. If this one doesn't work, that's good. But these ones, ones did well.
But don't be too price driven. Be value driven.
I hear you.
I never look at price. I can look at something.
I like that.
Yeah, I can look at something that's $100 million. And I saw this like 10 years ago on a podcast where a guy goes, it's the same work to buy $1 million property and it's just and a $100 million property. But I go after the $100 million property because 5% of that is like whatever. You know what I mean? It outweighs everything else that I'm doing. So it's almost like I never look at the price. I look at the value, right? So right now we're going after a $4 million building, 12 units, Jason and the fund and all of us. And renovation is going to be about $2 million. So we're all in for $6 million. But when the building's done, it's worth $11 million. Right? So it's like the numbers are bigger. Everything is a little bit bigger, but the process is still the same.
Yeah, but I'm with you. But then again, remember, I still feel I'm a rookie at this. Like, it's only like a year or two that I've really been studying and learning and running numbers.
You bought your first property 10 years ago?
Yeah, no, but I wasn't even thinking business.
He wasn't thinking about that. You just bought a property
to live.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a man. I want to live in my own house.
Guys, he's a rookie, but he bought 8 properties this year.
Yeah, but
rookie of the year.
I like that. I'm rookie of the year.
Rookie of the year.
But same way with the 8 unit, we stepped up. And the only reason we stepped up with the 8 unit because somebody came to us and said they have $100 million they want to invest in real estate. So I started going researching, okay, what could I do with this? What can I make money? And then I started looking at these 8 units and 12 units. I said, wait, we could do this.
Sometimes that happens. Like someone says they want something from you.
Even though they're talking smoke.
They always talk smoke.
But my head grew.
Yeah.
But that's
I was
good.
like, wait, I could do this.
Those are
like,
numbers.
Why aren't we doing this?
Yeah.
And that's why we jumped on that one.
So let me ask you.
Still, I don't know how we're going to get it done, but we're going to get it done somehow.
You can get it done. All the answers are already in front of you.
Yeah, they are, but...
So let me ask you this. I noticed you're doing like a lot of events and trying to build a community around what you're doing.
That's the next
I
big
respect
thing we're
that.
doing.
Like, you know, obviously you see us doing that with the masterclass and things like that. So I think we have a duty to provide people the knowledge that we have. Do you like I get joy out of it. How do you feel? Like what's the reason?
I really feel good out of it. Well, why I started, okay. The reason why I started that group is Principal Evolution with Kelsey and Richard Wright, or AKA Chosen. So I was in another organization. I'm not even gonna say the name, but we. I don't want bad talk though.
Yeah, no. This is a positive podcast.
So it was a group of black individuals pooling their money together to invest.
Yeah.
And I was like, that sounds dope.
Yeah.
Because eventually we need to have a building. We have this. We need to have all this stuff.
Yeah.
So as black people, we need to pool our money. So I joined this group. I remember my first question was like, what's the ROI? What are you guys returning? What's your return on investment? They're like, why are you asking that? You should be supporting this community because you're black. I was like, you know what? Let me just put my money in. I put my money in. So about 3 years later, I'm like, yo, these guys didn't do nothing. They bought one. I think they bought one of the dream properties by Yorkdale or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they sold it. And I'm like, why would you sell now? Why don't you wait till it's finished? Rent it, or maybe you're like, whatever. They're like, oh, they can't because it's in one of the members' names and we don't need it in that name. So I'm like pushing. I was like, okay, why is this not a business thing?
Yeah.
Why is this in the business account? Like what? So I've been like, okay, now I'm a member now. So I jumped to the board. So I'm like, okay, these guys are moving as fast as they need to be moving.
Yeah.
So I went on the board. And I started pushing. I was like, okay, we need an investment account. We could invest in maybe some stocks, some dividend stocks. I went and did research. These are some solid stocks. We can maybe invest a little bit in there. I even the same property I bought in Chatham, I brought it to them. I said, yo, we could do a joint venture. I could do all the legwork. You guys have to put up the money and we could get this property, cash flow, rate. Yo, and then they're like, what's the ROI? 8%. Oh, that's not good enough. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, do you guys know what 8% is?
Yeah.
And from then I was like, yo, these guys, they don't really want to invest. They just want to pool money and sit down in a bank account. But they don't even understand putting money in a bank account. You're losing.
Yes.
So it's like, I started realizing like these guys are not even educated enough to understand what an investment is.
Okay.
So then I realized like, man, we need some work. We need to do some work. So that's really how this all like kind of grew. Because when we started having little events and little things to just spread knowledge and help people gain knowledge and get them better prepared. So when it's like time for say, yo, this is a wicked deal on the table. Are you ready? Can you move? Can you move? Who can move on this now? And there'll be more and more people that can move, right?
So the new group that you formed, what's different now?
So this one is strictly about investment. So we're right now we're not really pooling money. It's more sharing knowledge. So there's a lot of people who are like they have knowledge in a lot of different areas. Yeah. One lady is doing she's buying mobile homes for like $7,000 in cash flowing in like Pennsylvania or something stuff like that. So there's a lot of ideas that a lot of the group has, and we just meet and share ideas.
That's good.
So I know a lot of these people they don't have like $50,000, $100,000 to put down on things, but they may have $5,000 that 5 of us could put together and get something. Because even the last property bought in Cleveland, it was a pool. I got 5 people to put $10,000 each to buy the property. We all make about just over 100 and a bit a month. So it's like these are the little steps I'm trying to make and bring people up.
It's a start, definitely a start. Starts are very important, man. A lot of people stay at the starting line and don't move.
That's a lot. So they do all the reading and they don't want to make the jump.
So congratulations on that. And for like the masterclass, we're kind of like the same type of environment. Jason and I, outside of the masterclass, we're always looking for ways to improve our student body, looking to make us as strong as possible. This week we sat down with a top lawyer downtown. We're looking to set up a fund where we can now take RSP money and registered funds.
That's why I wanted to talk to you guys.
Well, you're talking now.
But yeah, so I agree because you know what? I think that our community just, we tend to not talk about these things. Yeah, so we tend to
not at all.
We tend to say like, oh, this person's so successful. A, we don't ask them questions to say how they do it. Or 2, even the successful people don't share it. Yeah. So I think, crowdfunding is very important. I think if you look at any startup companies, it all comes from a few people putting money together to start something.
Look at the stock market, yo.
That's all it is, right?
And they need to expand. They just pool money and they just put it all together.
The problem is is with our community, since we're on that topic, you know, we get discouraged when there's failure.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of like runs away from each other. When there's failure
Failure's good.
No, but me and you understand that. But we're like shepherds trying to lead sheep, but sheep is not a bad thing.
Yes.
It's just that's what shepherds do. They lead. In our community, we find leaders, and when we put them on pedestals very high, and when they fall, let me put it this way: when everything's going good, we love our leader.
Yeah.
But when that leader, we forget is human. If there's a mistake that's made, someone who's in the audience watching, who was clapping for your success, could actually help that leader, but they choose not to.
Yeah.
So we fall back, and then we disperse. And then it's hard to bring everybody back in because they hold on to that experience for decades, bro. So like I go to people and say, no, like in 1980 I did an investment and it didn't go good, so I didn't do anything else ever since. And my mind was, you know, did you educate yourself why that loss happened? Did you make yourself stronger? Did you put better protective measures in place this time around? Because you're not allowed to stop getting better. True. You're not allowed to stop pursuing the dream. So it doesn't make any sense to me. So what I'm trying to do with the masterclass and show and this podcast is show people like shit. I've failed more than I've won. I swear to God, in real estate, I probably failed more than I've won. But the wins are so big because I'm going after always the big plays, right? Michael Jordan, he lost for 7 years straight before he won his first championship.
Box up, yo.
LeBron James was a loser before he was a winner.
Big time.
You know,
with nothing.
You know, all the greats have lost. Thomas Edison, all these guys have lost. Elon Musk, you know, all these guys, you know, like Apple. Steve Jobs got kicked out of his own company and then got back. You know,
and he did the big things.
So I don't understand why people feel that people are not allowed to fail. Like failure is just a temporary.
But it's what
stop.
we're taught, yo. It's what we're taught in school. That failure is terrible. Failure is bad. Failure is an F, a red mark on your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't know that's a learning. Like to me, I learn the best when I fail, especially like when I'm doing coding and stuff.
Best, man.
When I struggle and I'm like in there for 2 hours trying to find one dot or period that's missing. You think I forget that ever again?
Never.
No.
I'll tell you guys a little secret about me. My son's 13. I've never looked at his report card once. Ever.
Oh, wow.
Ever. Because you can't grade my son.
Okay.
You just can't grade my son. He's always growing.
Yeah.
His job is just to show up and do what he needs to do. He'll figure out who he's going to be at his time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look and say, oh, you got to. So I low key overheard, like I remember from kindergarten to grade 5, 6, he was hovering around a C in math. Yeah. And all of a sudden, boom, he's like 80, 90. Yeah. Because I put no pressure on him. I know he'll figure it out. Yeah. I know his DNA. I made him, right? So
saying it's strong. Right?
So when he brings home the report card, you just take it and put it on the table and don't look at it?
I just don't look at it.
Oh, that's
because
good.
At the end of the day,
there's
certain things that I judge him on in terms of making sure he's respectful.
Yeah.
His mannerism.
Yeah.
He shows up and goes to his sports, and the things that he needs to do gets done. And how he performs in the classroom, I let him figure that out without pressure.
That's good.
Right? Because for me, it's like, what am I grading you on? Yeah. Everyone learns at different paces. Everyone has different strong suits. Yeah. You know? True. So I just try to like just monitor certain things and look for like little behaviors, see if he's going off course or anything. But if I just see he's having little struggles here and there, I let him get through that. Yeah. And don't put pressure on him. You know what I mean? So, you know, like the masterclass and stuff, everyone's at different levels of investing. True. And we don't ever say, get to this level, get to that level. We're taking everyone back to the basics. And then some people who can't keep up or don't understand it, Jason will set up private one-on-ones here. Yeah. And then we walk them through it again. We never say, oh, you can't attend. Yeah, that's why we don't that's why right now we don't even charge for the masterclass. Yeah. We don't put pressure for people to buy anything. But what we do is we educate, and what we do is we try to inspire action, even if it's one small step. And that's why the fund's going to be important, because everyone at different scales can come in, and people with different resources can come in.
That's the same thing I was saying.
Cash,
so if they only have 1,000, 5,000, 10,000.
Yeah, we need to, and that's the problem is the world is created in a way that you need money to take advantage of opportunity.
Correct.
And, you know, I've always said, like, you know, what about the little guys, right? You know, because I'm a little guy. I'm really a little guy.
I'm a little guy too.
So it's like
6'6" little guy.
All right.
what about the little guys? What about everybody else?
Yeah.
Because as you know, from my experience in banking, the people who get the most opportunities, the people that don't even really need these opportunities.
They don't even want the opportunity.
Yeah.
They'll get a call. Hey, Bob, listen, we're about to launch an IPO. You want in? Not really. But there's a good opportunity. I see 2 million sitting here. Oh, yeah, just throw it in there. Yeah. You know, and then people like, you know, the smaller middle class or even below, just to get into investment, they have to pass all these criteria.
Or they find out too late. So, for example, you'll find out about like, you know, something like a stock is going up because it's in the news, but
too late.
It's too late, right? You know what I mean?
So if you weren't at the board table,
even a new build is being available. It's too late.
Right? Too late.
All the units are gone.
You have to call I'm not Kevin's realtor.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't call me to buy Oshawa, but he called me because he saw that I had access to something that he wanted. Yeah. You know, no hard feelings. You know, use different people for different things. Yeah. This world's all about access.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
And at the end of the day, our community has to now understand and realize they have to invest in guys like us who are. This guy's driving to Cleveland, driving to Indiana, driving to different places to find opportunities, to bring it back for you to have an opportunity.
And you know what people will do? They'll be like, oh, let me watch Kevin to see if he's going to be successful. Yeah. And then I'll invest. Yeah. But then that whole 2 years, they could have put a 5 or 10 grand with you to do it, right? So
you want to hear a funny story? Yeah. You want to hear a funny story? It's the funniest story ever.
I'm already laughing. I don't even know the story. Why do we do this?
Because you know I go through
the way you said it.
Because you know I go through some bullshit, right? So like I started back in real estate 2009. Yeah. So I was looking at a fourplex in Hamilton.
Sorry, you started back?
Back in 2009.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Bought my first property out in Hamilton. But then like 6 months later, I went for my second property. And I remember putting together an email for all my friends, and I said, new opportunity, fourplex. It was 200,000. Cash flow was like 2,500. It was blessed.
Yeah.
Send this email out to all my friends. Got no response.
Yep, I've been through that too.
Still went and bought the property. Still went and bought the property. And then one of the guys saw me like last year or 6 months ago. Yeah. He goes, "Yo, remember that fourplex opportunity? I just saw the email. Is it still available?"
What?
I said, "No, I just sold it actually 2 months ago for 600,000."
Dang.
You know what I mean? Like people have to understand that you don't need all the answers to move forward. Yes. And I say to people sometimes too, you got to learn to drive on red lights sometimes. Not in real life, but just in your path to success. Yeah. Not all the lights are going to line up green. Meaning this, I need to understand enough about what you're trying to do, get involved with you, and then learn along the way, and then master it alongside you. There's no way I'm going to know everything all up front. It's impossible.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Everyone else aiming to be perfect. But like I said with Ray Dalio, I think I said it in the last podcast, I'm learning to be imperfect.
Yeah.
You know, my goal every day is to make as much decisions as possible.
Yeah.
If you're not making decisions, you're not moving forward. There's no momentum there for you, right? Yeah.
So yeah, man, like we're down, like I've come to one of the events. Can't come to everything, but I'm down to support and try to figure out and brainstorm some ideas to help you guys on this journey. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that I talk to that want to invest in the States too. So sometimes it's just about bringing, maybe one day we can bring you guys out to the master class and you could tell us about the U.S. investing because people want to hear it. It's not about just guiding people to one thing. I want to show everybody everything. And then you choose what you want. Yeah. Like there's so much, especially in real estate, there's so much to do, and with like.
Real estate's a 24-hour job.
Yeah, everybody needs a place to live. They're always, no matter what's going to happen, you may not be able to buy, but you're going to need a house.
Real estate would never be sold out.
Yeah.
No.
It's a product that's like always turning every single day. So this is what I want to challenge you with, Kevin. It's like, think of yourself as the guy that's out, you're a coder, right? You do codes. You're the guy that's on the ground right now in our community cracking the code for the U.S. invasion.
Yeah, trust me. That's exactly it.
Because once you crack that code, you go, this is the banker, this is the guy you need, this is the contractor.
That's exactly what we're doing. And you just get like ITIN, like how to build your credit, like all these things.
You crack the code and then the it's just going to flow through.
But I tell you, this 8 unit, as soon as we get this 8 unit done, refinance, it's over.
So when the 8 unit's done, we'll bring you back.
Oh, hell yeah. And I'll let you know how it went. If it went over budget, which you probably will.
Well, you know, you just got to run your performers really well. But before you go, right, we want to learn a little bit of like your routine, like what you do to stay focused, what happens when you like get a little discouraged, you know, your little escapes, your little oasis that you go to that keeps you in the zone, you know?
Me is music.
Oh, yeah.
Me is music.
For sure.
Okay.
If I'm behind the turntables playing like roots reggae, oh my gosh, I could be there forever.
Okay.
Like me, like music honestly is like, I can't go a day without listening to music. Yeah. Music, it just gets me in my zone.
Right.
And honestly, I also listen to a lot of audiobooks. Audiobooks like crazy. I'll be shoveling the driveway listening, cooking.
What are you listening to right now?
Right now, I'm listening to, I think it's Successful Habits of a Millionaire or something.
Okay.
Some random, I can't remember. I just started the book.
Okay. Is that the one from, you just bought something like that?
No, I don't have that book.
You bought, no, it's the, what's his name? Brendon Burchard one.
Yeah, that's Success Habits.
Success Habits?
Yeah, I did that one already.
Yeah. I bought this book and I'm using actually his journal. It's really good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
You know,
I'm actually using the Intention Journal, the 90-day Intention Journal from Bigger Pockets.
Yeah, I have that one.
Oh, that one's
okay.
right. It helps me focus. You're just focusing on 3 goals every day for 90 days.
And yeah, 90 days.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing too. Like people say to me, "Oh my gosh, Aaron, you're so busy." I'm like, "No, I'm not. I do literally one big task a day. That's it. I don't like to like be busy. I like to be efficient, right? So like I love that 3 goals a day. That's it. That's all you need, right?
Yeah.
And then when you need to do more, that's when you start to expand and bring people in for help at the end of the day too, right?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but audiobooks are really big. I love audiobooks. So much to learn.
Yeah.
Gets me focused, gets me amped. Listen to Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone. The thing too was funny thing, Brendon Burchard.
Yeah.
When I started off 10 years ago, he was my go-to guy.
Oh, yeah?
You see how everyone like is go-to guys kind of Grant right now?
Yeah.
Brendon was my go-to.
Okay.
Like,
why? For productivity?
you know what I loved about Brendon Burchard? He was like, let me show you how to set up your first $1 million funnel.
Oh,
How to set up your marketing and how like he really like showed me how to vet investors, find deals, and really build a system. He's a systematic
he's a
guy.
very system guy.
I love those books.
I love systems, man. I love systems because without a system, everything has a system.
Yeah.
The Lakers have the triangle offense. That's a system. Chicago Bulls triangle offense had a system. I don't know what system LeBron's in, but Kobe has a Kobe system.
It's just LeBron's system. Give me the ball and cut to the basket.
No, I had to throw that in.
I feel bad for the guy.
But honestly, Brendon Burchard, my go-to guy, because he was very clean and his information was well polished and it was all about systems. And then I started to study like companies like Salesforce and Infusionsoft, like CRM systems.
Yeah.
I was very systematic because you had to. Like when Kevin came in here, he's like, "Shit, how do I manage all my properties? How do I do all the tax stuff?"
Yeah.
Paperwork.
So
I'm working on those systems right now.
systems are important. So right now, even in-house here, it's like, you know, your CRM systems. You know, today I was on the phone for an hour talking to one of my partners, Carrie, in terms of accounting, bookkeeping, reporting, all these things where I'm like, man, the work doesn't stop. When you get bigger, the system has to get bigger.
Yeah.
So that's why it's, you know what, I like
I ain't
where
doing
you
that
are
stuff.
right now, but where you at right now, if you set your system, and even where you're at, Aaron, with your development, if you set your system in place now, as it gets bigger, it gets easier. Like I'll tell you, even with my mortgage business, sometimes my system is not the greatest, and I fall behind, and my follow-up game sucks. But I notice when I'm all prepared, it's like when everything's written down and all that kind of stuff.
Transparency.
Huh? What? It's a fact, man.
I love that. I have
my follow-up game sucks. Like all my customers will tell you, I don't call back, and it's not on purpose, and it's not that
my
I
wife
don't
was
mean.
upset with him too. We're doing the work.
Everybody's upset with me, but you know what it is?
You got it done though.
I'm working.
He got it done though.
I'm working.
Dig him up. You got it done.
Yeah, but it's all good. You know, at the end of the day, when you're a mortgage agent, you're the punching bag. You know, you don't get the glory like the realtor.
You know what it is. It's a skill actually.
Yeah.
What you just said, because you know, when someone's getting into like for real estate, for example, it's such an emotional transaction.
Yeah.
That we have to sometimes lock off that client so we can actually work. Like a client will call me. So what's going on? What's next?
Yeah.
What's going on? I'm like, dude.
So this is not an investor.
Investors too.
Serious?
Bro, you should see. Ask Jason.
Yo, everyone's crazy.
When I see a building or something I want, oh my gosh, I'm on it. So you know, Kevin, you know, I'm very inspired by your story. I think you're a very talented young man. Obviously, he's come from a young person, but you know, I love that you took the step. You're out in Cleveland, making new connections. And the U.S. is such a big marketplace. You can spill into North Carolina, which is one of the hottest markets right now. I have some friends out there who are buying 500, 600 unit apartment buildings, complexes, and stuff like that. I can always make that connection for you.
Oh yeah, that'll be nice.
I was down.
I'll make that trip.
Oh yeah, I was down in Miami not too long ago, looking at Airbnb short-term rental plays. I was out in the Caribbean looking at some boutique style resorts as well.
Where was this?
Tobago.
Oh, okay.
So, and those things are like $1 million US, not that much.
I'm coming to the States for sure.
Yeah. So it's like guys like you that inspires me to continue going because it's like little competition and it's good competition. Yeah. Meaning like, oh shit, Kevin's doing his thing. I gotta wake up more and do my thing to make sure I can keep up with him.
That's actually what got me started, We've been paying cash flow a lot, and one of my boys bought it in Chatham earlier last year. Yeah. And I was like, this guy's not gonna beat me out the rat race. Yo, then I had to buy it.
You wanna hear a funny story? Yo, listen to this. My boys started out in Hamilton before me, and I remember one day I just got in my feelings. I'm like, yo, am I going to be in the hood and they're out the hood? And then one year I bought like 10 properties. I went buck wild.
See, that's what happened to me.
I went crazy. I
started moving.
I'm like, there's no way I'm losing. No way. I don't like to lose.
And then your friends sitting there hesitating.
And they're hesitating now. And now they're like, still at 1 or 2. And I'm like, whatever the number is now. But at the end of the day, it's like good competition. Yeah. Waking up every morning, looking at your story, I'm like, yes, Kevin, keep going, keep pushing. I like that. And I want you to look at me and say, yes, Aaron, keep pushing. I like that. But it just gives us that energy. And then boom, look, we're in a room together. We're sharing our experiences. And then Jason, he pushes me every single day. He sharpens me up, and I hope I do the same for him as well. But
sure,
I'm just thankful to have you on the show because you don't look like that typical real estate investor.
Oh nah.
Like when you walk down the street, no one's gonna be like, oh shit, that guy has 10, 12 properties.
They would never think that.
Never. But what I respect about that is because I don't look like the typical real estate investor either. Because people see me, they see tattoos. I'm not always in that 3-piece suit. But what I say to people is like this: when you're writing your book of freedom, just remember you're free. You can be yourself. You don't have to be painted a picture. We're not working for a bank, or we're not working for a hedge fund where we're helping them buy real estate. We're buying real estate for ourselves to be free. So if you want to, be in your robe and go out there and do your thing, do your thing. Like I always tell my clients, like, be yourself when you meet me. Be yourself when you're investing. Be yourself when you're making money. Just however you want to come, and just come that way, man. Too many times people want to put labels on us, man. And at the end of the day, like people say to me all the time, oh my gosh, I didn't know you're in real estate. You have tattoos. I just thought, I'm like, hey man, I'm sorry you felt that way.
You could have been making money a while ago.
Yeah, I'm sorry you felt that way. At the end of the day, my tattoos don't stop me from crunching numbers. This is what I do in my free time. When I want to get my inner Allen Iverson on, let me be.
In the zone.
In the zone.
Iverson never was in the zone. My invite to the ball.
Hey, man, listen.
So I could block one of his turnaround shots.
Listen,
you see him do it. Yeah. Like no one's D'd him. Like, you know what I mean? It's slow turnaround. Like.
Listen, guys. There's a defender there. But when you're skilled, it looks like there's no defender.
All right.
But listen,
you got to bring him out now. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I've been asking. I even texted the man. The man don't respond.
Now I got to see when it happens.
Kevin plays for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
I don't care if it's the Cavaliers. It could be the Golden State without the two Flash brothers.
He's coming after you.
You know what? These cameras here, I'm going to put them on the court. I'm going to give them a 360 view of me like just cashing in on you.
Okay, fine. I'll be there. I'll film it.
All right.
All right, let's wrap it up there. Thanks, Kevin, for coming.
Again, I want to thank you guys. You guys gave me some knowledge. You guys gave me some inputs and insights on what I could do. Yeah. But thanks.
Now, before we leave, I'm putting it out there. In the next 6 months to a year, I want to bring the podcast to Cleveland in that 8plex that you finished.
Oh, yes.
Okay, fine.
And we'll do an In the Zone tour.
That would be dope.
Cleveland.
Right, cool. Road trip.
All right.
Let's do it when the Browns are paying. So I can go to No, I'm just playing.
Browns and Patriots?
No, well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see where Brady goes. I'll still be a Patriots fan though. All right, in the zone. Let's go.
Thanks for coming.
All right, Kev.